09W, State of Texas versus Jonathan Ben. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state, for the defense?
Andrew Fred.
And are you Mr. Ben?
Yes.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Ben, I'm going to show you what's entitled Waiver of Indictment, Reading of Information and Rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to have a grand jury hear the evidence in this case and make a decision on whether or not to indict?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand that your attorney has certain rights, namely 2 days from the presentation of the information and 10 days from the presentation of the information to prepare for trial? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights as well?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to waiver of indictment, reading of information and rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Showing you a document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision.
Judge, I fill out both of those. It's kind of an open plea. You're asking for probation, whether it's deferred or an actual conviction is
Okay.
up to the court. But I just fill out both just in case.
All right, did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you sign it?
No.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Information. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the information?
Absolutely.
State, are you proceeding on the information as presented?
Yes.
Mr. Penn, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Did you understand you're charged with theft under $2,500 enhanced as a state jail felony? The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yeah.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ben, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility. The state opposes your application. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor. We're applying for community supervision.
State?
Yes.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offense is charged in the in the information, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
Yes, Judge, state exhibit 1 and all attachments.
No objections.
Mr. Ben, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has no accepted into evidence. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Will we come back on December 19th? At that time, I will let you know my decision on your applications. Yes.
I'm on vacation from the 17th all the way through after Christmas time. We could do it before then, that would be great. We could also waive PSI based on the information presented. I understand Ms. Sparks has a number of priors that she could introduce there,
Yeah, yes.
and we can stipulate to those, Your Honor, if you want to waive PSI before today.
No, I mean, there are more issues here.
I understand.
Yes.
And I understand that,
So when will you be out of town?
starting on the 17th is a Saturday, so I'll be available anytime. Sorry, I didn't speak for you.
You need at least what? Yeah, they need at least 4 weeks. I don't know. Are you able to do it by Zoom?
From a hotel room. I assume that I can figure it out. Yes, sir.
Do you want to do it by Zoom? Because otherwise we'll just have to push you back after the holidays.
My client needs to, yeah, I will absolutely be available whenever you do. If I can be in a different state and do it, I will do it, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll put you by Zoom. Let Ms. Ferguson know that defense counsel is going to be by Zoom. Are you requesting a TAP evaluation?
Are we requesting it? Not necessarily.
Yes. All right.
I'm assuming Ms. Sparks would request a TAP evaluation.
Okay. All right. On Jonathan Ben, it's going to be a TAP evaluation and a PSI. And it'll be at 9 o'clock. And Mr. Ben, I'll base my decision on your application based upon the PSI report I receive and any other evidence that's presented to me.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Who's here on Corin Campbell? Oh, just 1 sec. I'll take you up next. All right. What is with Corin Campbell?
Yeah, this is a second motion to modify bond condition.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, is Judge Nahara available to hear this motion? All right, so what is before we go on the record, what's the issue with the bond?
If you recall, Your Honor, this is a aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I believe that this is a actual innocence case. It's actually.
So, I mean, what are you asking for with regards to bond?
When he was arrested in July, there was full house arrest, and September 30th, he removed that full house arrest to lock him to work. Now he would like to be able to get off it completely. He complied with all conditions of the monitor, complied with any pre-trial. He has a job, he's got a son. The location of where he is in regards to his son and school, it's caused him great difficulty in working, having to pick up his child at school, having to drop his son off at school, and also get to his job.
All right, State, are you opposed?
We're opposed to removing that. We would agree to.
All right, so they said they're in agreement to tracking. So is that an agreement, or you all still want your hearing?
No, if the tracking is going to allow him to pick up his son, take him to school and all that, that's fine.
It's tracking. And why were you late for court today?
Oh, no excuse, Your Honor. It won't happen again.
All right, if it happens again, we may be hearing your case from you being brought over, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so where are we on this case other than that? So the court is going to give him tracking as agreed to. So if you all will fill out the appropriate motion.
At the last hearing, Judge, you signed an order on discovery, and I'm still working on it.
Okay.
You made several rulings on the pre-trial and the orders, and I also, and a couple of items you asked for a discovery order. I prepared that discovery order and forwarded that to Mr. Sanders, I believe, yesterday or the day before.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, let's recall this in 1 month and we'll see where we are on the discovery issues. All right, we'll come back on December 14th for discovery issues.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, and if you'll prepare that other motion for the tracking only, the court will sign it.
Motion for track.
and make sure the state signs off on it. Ms. Garcia?
Yes, Judge. I've come to an agreement with the prosecutor as to what we believe is their bond.
Okay. If you all, and that's for Richie?
That's correct, Judge.
All right, if you all want to do a because did you file a motion or no?
No, because we were asking for the PR bond, just, but the state was opposed to the PR bond.
All
I
right.
personally don't believe he qualifies for a PR bond, and so
All
I
right.
know he doesn't.
Yes. All right, if you will go to the back with the clerk and have them pull the B pages for each of these, and if you all will write your agreement on there.
Okay.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you, Judge.
You're welcome. Jake Gomez. Court is calling 2022 CR 7320 State of Texas versus Jake Gomez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? For the defense?
Kelly Piddle.
And are you Mr. Gomez?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, we did.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you sign that and did you review that with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Judge, we're proceeding on count one, waiving count two and the enhancement paragraph.
Any objection?
No objection.
I'm going to show you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance? Penalty group 2A, 4 to 400 grams. That's a first degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years in life and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes.
Do you believe he is currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Mr. Gomez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on count one. Punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. State recommends community supervision, and there's $57 restitution for drug testing. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes.
State?
Yes, Judge.
Showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 5 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
State offer states exhibit one and its attachments.
Objection.
Mr. Gomez, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports and laboratory reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits one and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits one and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, sir.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
There you go.
All right, Mr. Gomez, do you have any children?
Yes, I do.
What are their ages?
23 and 18.
Do you have family here in San Antonio?
Yes, ma'am.
What family do you have here?
I got my tia, my aunts. I got my wife.
Does your wife have any children?
Yes, she does.
What are their ages?
23, 19, 18. Yes, sir.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
And where do they live?
They live on their own.
When's the last time you had employment?
Probably about a year ago.
Why?
No reason.
Then how were you supporting yourself?
I wasn't, Your Honor. I mean,
Who was
Why?
supporting you?
my wife.
Have you been using any drugs?
When I was out there and when I was free, yes, I was.
What were you using?
Marijuana, methamphetamine.
Who is Desiree Gomez?
That's my wife.
And who is Nikita Housley? Nikita Housley. Housey, I'm sorry. Hausey. The person who lives in Kingsville, Texas. Who is that?
I don't know.
So how often is Desiree using?
She's on methadone, so I mean, she hasn't been using. I'm the only one who's been using on the school.
Here's the thing, do you love her?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, if you love her, you can't be using drugs around her.
Yes, ma'am.
Because what's going to end up happening is she's going to fall off the wagon, which I think of methadone as a drug as well, because it messes with your cognitive abilities. Yeah, that's going to be an issue. I'm not going to let you live with her until you're in your sobriety. You understand? All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 5 years in prison, suspended and probated for 5 years. Do you have any gang affiliation? All right, I'm going to have probation run it. If they run it, what are they going to find?
And I'm an ex-gang member.
All right, what? For what?
Order home.
All right, I'm going to want gang supervision. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be no contact with Desiree Gomez until further notice. There's to be no contact with Nikita Housey. Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors. There's going to be a TAP evaluation while in custody. If TAP recommends inpatient treatment, we'll start with intensive outpatient treatment. I'm going to want the UA hotline upon release. And that'll be until further notice. And upon release, I'm going to want 90 meetings in 90 days. There should be no unsupervised contact with minors. I'm going to want field visits 3 times per month. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. I'm sorry. All right, I know you probably think I'm being mean because I'm not letting you have contact with your wife, but this is what I know about drug addiction. 2 people who have addiction, they can't be around each other until they are in sobriety. And right now, you're not in your sobriety. You're still using. If I were to release you right now, you probably use. I know your intention would not be. Your intention would be to get out. I'm going to do better. I don't want to go to prison. I'm going to work everything out. But what ends up happening is stumbling blocks come along in our life. And when we're not equipped to handle them, we go back to what we knew before. And what you knew before is using drugs. And so even though it probably seems that I'm being cruel, not allowing you to have contact with your wife, I'm trying to do what I can do to make sure that you're successful on this probation and not go to prison. You understand? All right, good luck to you. You're welcome.